All right, hello everybody. Should be able to hear me, see me. One of my lights went out, so let me fix that. Or lost connection. Talks over Wi-Fi. JD Lady, hello. Welcome on in. Good to see you. I think I can turn myself up a little bit. There we go. Nope, too high. How's that? Okay. I'm just testing myself. All right, that should be good. So let me fix this light real quick. And then we'll get into some craft day stuff. Where is it? There's the command. Okay. And then I need... So hey, while we're waiting, I'm DC. Welcome on in. You can find all my stuff under DC Lasair. Go to my website. Follow me on Blue Sky, dclasair.com. Be great. Okay, we got that. Also, I'm an affiliate for Places. Exclamation mark AF in chat. First one come up is Doris. They are a link in bio site. Check them out. If you like what you see, use my affiliate link and put in my affiliate code, DC Lasair, to get 30% off for 3 months. Also, I have an affiliate link for Fantasy Grounds. They're a VTT and they have a wonderful reader app currently in beta. Use my affiliate link and any purchases you make on Fantasy Grounds go to support me. All right, let me get this up here. Should find... What do you mean? Oh, hold on. Oh, there it is. Haha. I have to get up and do another reset of the light. Okay. So it should find it. It's gonna look a little weird, but stick with me here. We'll be good. And turn myself down just a little bit more. There we go. All right. And as soon as the light talks to the Wi-Fi, we can get going. Otherwise, you know, got this mood lighting, I suppose, stuff. So thanks for coming by on Wednesday. Be great. Tomorrow will be more Suikoden 2. Oh, let me adjust this to I think there. Okay, I'm going to turn on a light. Boop. There we go. There, that looks better. Tomorrow will be more Suikoden 2 for Tech Friday. Since I had problems recording last week, it'll be the same stuff. So if you're here live and kind of heard everything between stream failing and coming back on, we'll do it all again. So I have one clean stream. It'll be great. So I was talking about setting up for streaming and actual plays. And so that will be Friday. But today, I have a project. I got to double check something real quick here. Potter's tool. So that's... Sorry, I have a paper project I printed off, and I gotta make sure one of these is the right orientation, so I can still talk to you while I do this. Then on the back should be that. Okay. Because it took me a while to plan out how these... It involves cutting and folding paper. I had to make sure that everything on both sides of the paper lined up. Wait. something didn't go right. I might have to do a quick reprint. How did... Wait, I might be okay. I think I'm fine. Because potter's tools and leatherworking tools should be lined up. Because that page and that page should be lined up. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm good. Alrighty. So, I was wondering about... And ooh, that fell to the floor. I was wondering about making the handy reference guide, but instead of gluing field notes together, just taking a couple pieces of paper and folding them together, cutting away what I don't need. And I came up with a solution for that. And one of my problems as I was doing multiple test prints was that, I don't know if you can see this. All right, see how I made a dashed line in the middle? Well, no matter what, if you're printing at home, it's probably going to be off a little bit if you print on both sides of a piece of paper. And my problem was it was way off. And so the folding was not going great at all. And so I found a website where I could, adjust the PDF and make small adjustments to it by uploading the PDF, and then they would give me a corrected PDF and things like that. However, instead of messing with that right before a stream, I happened to remember that one of the other tips was to take your paper tray and the little guide you have on one side, just tighten that up. So I tightened it up, and now it is a little off, but the center line is a little off from the front and the back, but I think it's good enough to work around. It's not that far off. And to just try to fiddle with it constantly, like PDF, print PDF, I don't know if it's worth the time doing that. So I think I found the solution just by squeezing the paper tighter together. Yay. And so you'll be with me as we perform the cuts and do the folds. See how good we can get it to look. Then I'm going to staple it together. Maybe I'll staple it okay. Maybe I won't. Don't know. Got to kind of freehand the staple a little bit. So, all right. So let's see if that camera should be up. Let's see. We want this camera. There we go. There's the paper. So let's go over there. Over there to that desk. Boop, 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 boop. And do some paper trimming. There we go. Let's see. You can hear me here. Yeah. All right. So these two pieces of paper printed on front and back will have exactly the same information as this does. Plus, there'll be 4 blank pages in the back of this. There's more blank pages in the back of this notebook, just because, this is 48 pages. But I had to think about how many pages I had and what's the minimum amount I could fit of pages roughly this size. These are a little smaller than this. So I had to shrink this down. But then I had to calculate, okay, I looked at videos for zines. I'm like, okay, 8-page zine. All right, so 1, this is going to be a blank page. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? 7, 8. And I have it in quadrants. This is also notice that this page is this way, the long way is here. So this is quadrant 1, quadrant 2, 3, 4, and that's how I need to combine them, is I need to put this page on the bottom, this on top of this page on top of this page, and this page on top of this, fold that together. And then that will be 16 pages because stuff's on the back, right? And then I only needed 1 more sheet to do the rest of it, printing again on the front and the back. So I did that. I got me this cutter thing here. It's a Fiskars. Got it last week. Okay, I think I want to put that guide up there. And then what I do is each quadrant I fold in half, right? So ideally I'll be folding to the line. Maybe a little bit past the line. Yeah, but ideally I'll be making a fold like this. And then the pages will all be within the right spot without going over the crease, is what I hope happens. Because I have to fold it like this. Otherwise the pages won't line up. Okay, that might be okay. All right, so to make it a little easier on myself, I'm gonna... I don't know if it's better to try the folds and then cut. Maybe. Now, if this were a zine, what they would recommend is fold this way first, right? So you have a middle, and then fold in, and then you do 1 more fold from here, bringing this bottom part up to here. Then when you unfold it, you have essentially 8 pages, and then if you needed the back, you'd have 8 pages too. And the way they would fold it, a lot of places would fold it, would be in such a way that you would just have 8 pages, because you would front it and it'd be like a little, kind of almost an accordion. And like, well, okay, I need more than 8 pages. I don't want to use so much paper. And then I found a article on some website, or no, it was a YouTube video about, doing the folds needed to make this, 16 instead of 8. I'm like, perfect. So what we're going to do is I kind of have to keep in mind what I'm cutting, but I have this little thing right on the edge of the screen here. Allows me to lift this up. So let's do let's do these little side, top and bottom cuts first, actually, before we do the big cuts. Because there are some strips I can just take off the top. I think that should be okay. If not, this is a test. It's a rough approximation. I can print more. Okay, so, oh, nope. Lock that in. Slide. Okay, so I don't need that bit. I might say preserve some of this edge here. But this edge, there's certainly a bunch of it we don't need. That'll probably be good enough. Okay. We'll say that's good enough. For that. And then let's do this long center bit first. Actually, I'm going to use this line here on the other side because it sits slightly lower. So okay, that looks all right. Okay, okay. Yeah, I can live with that. That's fine. All right, now here's where I got to keep in mind the pages. So this is 1 and 2. This is my first time doing this, y'all, so I tried some samples, but it's really my first time where the paper is lined up, and I might be happy with the result. Okay, let's see here. That will be good enough, I think. Okay. Not bad. So, you gotta keep in mind, this is my first one, so I need to fold this over. Try to line it up here. Edge. Okay, little off, but not too. Yeah, that's a little off in there, so I gotta correct that. Either that or I leave that paper. Maybe I leave that paper for later. Chrysicon, hello, welcome on in. Yeah, I think that's the way to go, is to give me enough paper, is I do the folds first. And then I can cut along those folds. Okay, but this worked out. So let me show you here. We stack these together. We have the title page. I open it up. I have my little disclaimer thing. And then there's the index. And then there's your first set of actions. So we're going to try this. We'll try the folding technique here. So again, this is where's my other? Wait, do I have that? Because if this goes into... Yes, this should work. Should work just fine. Because I don't think I want it this way. Sorry, thinking. Because when this goes into here... Yeah, no, that's right. Okay. I'm fine. All right, so let's do the fold first. For these other pages here. Okay, a little off on that fold, but that's okay. Oh, no, that's not gonna... I folded a little off. Puddle Glum, hi. I did get a bone folder, so I can, do that. Right now, as proof of concept, oh, come on. Don't go anywhere. Okay. Okay, I can line that up better. Oh yeah, no, you should make the cuts first, and then fold would be better. But you can kind of get the idea. So with just one piece of paper, I have, the indexy bit. Then I have, here's what you do, here's what you can do on action, here's the rest of what you can do on action. Then we flip, next session started, which is Artisan's Tools. And you flip through Artisan's Tools, more Artisan's Tool, right? And then as we pile it up, it'll go better. All right, let's test out this piece of paper. So it didn't go exactly right, but I think I can work with all this. All right, so first let's cut this edge because I don't need it. I don't want to look at it. I don't need to think about it. It can just go away. So probably right about there, just at the end of the dashed line. Be my guide. And I want to fold. Okay, not bad. Go a little better. Then all right, so I need to do a little bit of adjustment. On these here. I think I can move them just a little bit. Or I can move them out further. I'm taking up more of the paper. Don't know. As far as the tops and bottom go, that's fine. All right, and then oh, miscut that a little bit. That's okay. There we go. This one would go on top of this one. And then when you flip them this way, we have, our conditions. So we have poisoned, prone, restrained. Right, so all this lines up: unconscious, exhaustion, frightened. Right, okay, I lost the order a bit, but you get the idea. And then they all kind of go together like this. I staple in the middle, 2 staples. And then you have the handy guide in flipbook format. I have some more paper adjusting to do. All right. Let's clean up. Bring this over with me. Yeah, I just need to adjust where these paragraphs are a little bit on the paper. So let's see here. That was number 8. I've done a bunch of testing. So, oh, I'm back over here. Yay. Let's see what other ones. We may go back down into the tests. Oh. Now I'm wondering if I can get an older version to work. Depends how it prints. I gotta see if anything looks like it's gonna be cut off. Doesn't, but doesn't mean anything. All right, I'm gonna print this, print a test. I don't know if you can hear the printer or not. Come on, print to that edge. Okay, well, That one worked. So I'm flipping the piece of paper around in particular order. Sorry, I don't have the camera on my printer. I have to flip the paper just right so the correct stuff prints on the, when I fold it, everything lines up like I need it to. Okay, so that was fine. Then we need this one. And we're going to hope that this all prints. Here. And I'm looking at the print preview to make sure it looks like everything will be on the page. But when you actually hit the print button, things can go wrong. All right. Let's do that. I'm just looking at PNG files. I made these all in Canva. And getting the right, all the squares to line up so that when I cut them and fold them was a mental gymnastics that I'm glad I solved and don't care to repeat. So if I do this project again, I'll have a guide with which to put the words, and then everything will keep kind of lining up like I need it to. All right. Let's make sure everything printed on the other side. No, it did not. All right. So it didn't cut off anything there. But then why did it cut off here? Oh, it did cut off on the other side. Okay. I just didn't see it. All right. So that one's not going to work. Let's see here. Do these look like they'll line up? Yes, they do. Looks fine. It'll be close enough anyway. Okay, so what if I go back? I've made 8 of these test templates to try. I'm just clicking through files at this point. Go back here. Okay, portrait. I'm gonna try shrinking the shrink to fit on the fit thing, and see if we get everything to print. Hopefully that did just enough to make it work. I'm just watching it print off. Okay. Are all the words now on the page? Is anything cut off? Nope, even that cuts it off a little bit. Okay. So we need portrait. We need, I did uniform page margins and shrink to fit. What then? Or do I do fill? What does it look like if it's normal? What if I just put in uniform paper margins? I'm just using the default picture viewer thing in Windows and testing out what happens at changing various print things. And I'm recycling a lot of paper. See, the top edge is always fine. It's the edge I can't quite see. Okay, that works. No, that does not work. Okay. Because now the top is cut off. Okay, so that is too high up. All right, so if we do print, portrait, page margins, uniform, shrink to fit. And I have a new ink cartridge in here, so the ink running low is not going to be a problem. I did the whole, ink alignment thingy. And I'm printing on a Canon Pixma. That's an older printer. Okay, that works. So maybe I can work with this. Maybe. Let's find out. All right. So printing the other side. And so I made a PDF version, which is all the pages, and I started off making PNG versions. So I have page 1 front, page 1 back, page 2 front, page 2 back, and those are all my alignment. All right, so now when I print, why do you default to landscape all the time? You need portrait. We need uniform page margins, and we need shrink to fit. And hopefully this prints just fine. I really don't have a space for my printer anymore, so it's just on the floor over. So I have to stand up, go over to it, pick up the piece of paper, look at it. Hearing it print. I don't know if you guys can hear the printer or not. Okay. So, did all the words print? They did. All right, so what we're going to do with this is try some folding. And let's go back over here. Actually, I am going to cut this in half, because that will tell me a couple of things as well. What's going to be the lower thing? Okay, so my line should be... Wait, that doesn't work at all, does it? Oh, wait, maybe it does. Okay. So before I cut further, let's just see what happens when I fold. Okay, that looks about right. Okay, let's do the same thing with this. We need it. It will kind of line up here. Did I do that right? Yes. Okay, and then this page. Line up about there. All right. So let's try making a cut and see what happens. What I should do is print them all out and then fold all both pages together. But I'm just testing a little at a time here. Okay. And I don't have any guidelines on this one, so okay, I'm gonna hope that's fine. Then they would go in like that. Okay, so that doesn't line up right. Doesn't quite, it's not going to quite give me the result I want. Wait, maybe it will. Maybe it will. Maybe I'm... Let's do this page. Oh, it's break time, isn't it? Well, let's cut here. Oh boy. Actually, I'm going to make the cut here. There's slightly more words on this side, so I don't want to cut them off. All right, so we'll get to break soon. Okay, so then we're going to have did I fold these the wrong way? No. This isn't right, though. Something happened in my printing. Oh, yep, I folded them the wrong way. Well, shoot. Let's correct that then. There we go. Then what we're going to do is try something. Oh, crud, where's that fold at? Okay. All right, here we go. Okay. The first page. Yeah, feeling something's not. Oh, yep, cut. Shoot. Second page, third page. Actually, except for that first bit, it's not bad. Like, the only real mess up was cutting into this page here. So I can probably correct for that. So process, not bad, but we'll take a break and try again. I think I'm getting close. But yeah, look how nice this will look. Got this guy belongs to. Then on the back, got my logo. Just got to figure out where to cut just right on all these. And yeah, it'll look pretty cool. And then staple it together, of course, which is the... will be interesting. I did get a stapler. Who took my stapler? So stapler with this base here. And so I can put... I can hold paper down with this thing. I have this nice base. And, you know, just staple right in. This came with staples, which was neat. They were inside here. But yeah, I got both of these same day at the craft store. So okay, I am not too far off with what I'm doing, which is good. All right, let's take a break. Otherwise, I will be at this and not take a break. And I'll be back in about 5 minutes. Gonna run some ads too, so stay tuned. Put on some music. Let's see, where's my mouse? There it is. And see you in 5. Okay, welcome back, everybody. Hope you're all doing good. Thanks for staying tuned through the break. Let me pause the music here. Going back to printing again. And I'm happy with the print settings. If I just remember what they are. Uniform, shrink to fit. I may have to go back into Canva and adjust the design a little bit and shrink down some. Just so it all works. I'm glad I figured out printer alignment and stuff, and if I need that little extra space, I can go in and do that. That'll probably be more effort than I want to figure out. If I can get this down, it'd be kind of fantastic. What I'd really like is to be able to kind of print edge to edge, and that way I know my folds would work just fine. But I can't do that, so got to adjust. Oh, I printed the wrong page on the back. Welp. Hey, Rex, thanks for the resub. Welcome on in. Edging on Twitch is a TOS violation. Oh, this doesn't help me any. All right, again. Stop defaulting the landscape. Me looking at the printer going, print. Okay, you printed. Then I wait a second for the ink to dry. Flip the page over. And now, if I print the right page on the back, that'd be clever. Yeah, I'm thinking I'll have to do some adjustments to a couple of the text boxes that I have so that they're a little smaller, and that so when I fold it over, put it in the paper, it kind of works out. I have an idea here. So let's just take this first page. Whoop, go back over here. Okay, move the stapler. All right. First thing we're going to do is separate out, remove the paper that I've left in the cutter. Oh, yeah. Okay, right. Oh, oops. Okay, right about there ought to be pretty good. Try to get this as stable as I can. Looks like what I want. Okay. Then what I'm going to do is, yes, I have to leave this piece that way. Print this off. Let's see here. I have some leeway. Nope, that's going to cut off some of the words. Okay, that ought to be fine. Okay. And what we're going to do, something a little different. About there. Okay. Almost. Shave off a little more. Okay, that's pretty good. Open it up. Everything's fine. Okay. So we have not a bad... Again, these aren't going to be perfect by any means, but they still have to kind of all fit together, right? So that's... Okay, so I will need to move this text over a bit for this to work out like I want it to. Yeah, so if I reduce that down a bit, reduce this text down, or I just slide it over some. It should work out. Then when I fold these two together, I can cut off this edge here. Then those pages will fit together nicely. All right, so let's see. Again, get a similar effect going with these. Let's do this side. Don't forget to flip it over me. Okay. Then if I take this again, sort of a guide. So if I take this first page and kind of use it as a source of truth, I can line up everything else to this. So yeah, I need to shuffle over some of the text. Then once again, I can lop off some of this edge. Probably too much, but fit right inside here, just like that. Then when I get done, there'll probably be another little edge here to cut off of all the paper, but that's fine. As long as it gets, you know, pretty close. And I can do the same thing here. By making the first page like I said, the thing of truth. I need it to line up and fold over too. And put this in. Yeah, I need to move some things over. A bit. Maybe shrink it down. That way when I cut everything, once I get everything done, then I can just make the folds all right away. See what this looks like with all this together. Yeah, so if I just take this portion, all right. Well, it's getting there. It's taking a lot, but it's getting there. I don't know how much longer I'm gonna keep doing this. I think I can get it, but the adjustments and everything are, you know, it's like just a little off this way, just a little off this way. I think if I shrink down some of the text on some of it, it will all work out a little better. But there might be a point where after a while, if I don't get this, I'm just gonna say, you know what? We'll just go back to cutting and gluing the into the notebooks. Because I'll show you how the folding the paper. If I could print edge to edge, this wouldn't be a problem. But my printer doesn't work that way. So if I want to make the zine, there's that paper. This is normal 8.5 by 11. So first you take it, you know, you don't have the paper this way, you flip it this way. Then you line up the edge. Hand folding a pamphlet without edge-to-edge control, learning to adjust your margins and not have a jig set up for folding all combined makes this difficult. You're doing great. Thanks, Rex. So we make that middle fold, and then why do I think I suddenly did this wrong? But then it's something like this. So then you take these, you fold here into the center. See, if you can fold into the center, it's great. All right, so you have these. And then had I done this correctly, you know, fold like that. It's not precise, but there, now I have pages, and then one more fold, I think. And you know, I have more pages here now than I intended, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? Like have 8 pages, 8 pages, right? And then on the back, I also have 8 and 8. So I'd have a lot of pages in the scene, and they would be very small. But that's kind of the idea. With what I'm doing. So now there is another way I could do this. It would take more paper, but it would be easier. Is that I could fold the paper correctly. Could fold a couple sheets. Then I could print out these squares so that they fit into the folds, and then I just glue them into the folds, or glue them where the little squares appear after the fold. That'd make it a little thicker, but also it would probably accomplish what I was trying to do without all this effort. All right, I do want to move on to another project for a little bit. And that might be what I wind up doing, because this is very delicate, and this, I have the paper, but at the same time it's taking a lot of paper. So what's the balance, right? Okay. So I wanted to also show off some, oops, camera, there we go. Also some Obsidian Vault progress. Because last night at, what was it? Like 2 a.m. I had an idea, so I had to I quickly typed it into my phone because I have Obsidian on my phone. And on Android, their latest update, well, actually, iOS and Android both can do this, but I think iOS has widgets. Excuse me. It's the waiting to sneeze. Okay, so I think iOS has widget. I don't know. I've never had an iPhone, but there is a widget now that you can put on your phone that instantly makes a new note in your Obsidian vault. And since I have my vault syncing to my phone, every time I make a new note, it will automatically appear in that vault on my main machine. So yeah, you just, so there's a widget. I tap the widget. I instantly have a new note. I don't have to go into Obsidian, type the new note thing. A new note just starts up. And I title it and I can start going. So I'm getting in bed, 2 a.m., phone's next to me. I have some ideas. I'm like, oh, I need to write these down because I don't want to forget. One moment. So I say write, but really type on my phone them out. And let's see here. Let's get this up. Let's move this window over to here. And then what am I doing? Oh, right, Obsidian. Wow. I have to get a presentation ready for a thing as well tonight. Actually, I have until Friday, but so did I do it already? I did that. Okay. Let me open up my other vault. Yes, I have multiple vaults. I have my main vault, which is my where all my research stuff goes, and then the TTRPG vault, which I've been showing off. Let me make sure I did this. I think I did that one. Okay. All right. So yeah. So the thing I added, and actually let me make sure this is going to come up. Studio mode. Demo window. Yeah, there we go. All right. So I'll need to be able to, let me turn on one more thing. So I added a thing to help the DM be a little more organized and not add too many folders here. All right. So there it is. Boop. All right, here's the vault. Now the important stuff is going to be over here right now. So what I did was that I'm like, okay, the DM has all this info, and then as the players discover it, they move it into the proper player area. If it's part of the world, if it's an NPC, if it's a monster magic item, you just drag it in, right? And if my main premise is building the world through adventures and sessions and things like that, and building it out slowly instead of creating everything all at once, then you're going to make, just a campaign outline, right? So campaign folder will have the campaign outline. If you need extra stuff, but this is all for the campaign, etc. Now you can break it down into adventures. Now I provide an adventure outline, but now there's this folder for your adventure, and then everything for that adventure goes into that folder. All your NPCs, all your things, and I did the same for sessions. So if you want to break it down into sessions or just use sessions, session 1, you have this folder. So you put everything in there because you're organizing through properties, backlinks, and bases. And then, I talked about having a secrets folder before, and you just have a master list. Cheeky McButt's one of our example NPCs. Makes penguin noise while sleeping. That's a secret, but that is attached via backlink to his note that the players aren't going to see, and then I can just move Cheeky McButts from the whatever area he's in. If he's in the session 1 area, I can just drag him down into the NPC area where he's going to naturally live. And then I thought, wait, this isn't. Where did I set up the other thing? Uh-oh. One moment. I may have put something in the wrong vault, because there's an extra thing where I decided to. Did I put that? May have accidentally put something in my home game vault. No, it's not here. I've been considering dividing it up. DM info and then world as its own folder. I thought I had done all that work. So I was considering having 3 master folders. You have a DM info folder, a world folder that's shared, and then a player folder where you can put just things that the players need, or that the players can send you, and then you can place them into there. And since it's Obsidian, you're using Markdown, you're using text files, they can just send you a text file or a Markdown file, and you can drag and drop it right in there. I thought I had. Was I dreaming things? I could have been dreaming things. I thought for sure I broke it out. Maybe I didn't. Well, now I gotta think on this again because I did have it broken out from, DM info, then what I called world, which is where all the world stuff would go, and then a player vault. So, the campaign area feeds into the world, and then the world feeds into the player area. That was the idea, but that would also make another folder. Which I thought I made, but maybe not. I think I was considering how necessary that would be to have kind of three main folders like that. And I thought I had made a copy and put it all together. Maybe I just dreamed that I put it all together. I swear I did the thing. But apparently I didn't do the thing. Anyway, that's the current thinking on the vault, is that you have a couple extra folders so that you at least have a place where you can put things related to either the adventure or the session, depending, you don't have to use the adventure part. And then once the players discover those, you just move them into the proper place in the world, whether it's a location, an NPC, whatever. And you'll have all of the categorization done in the properties menu. That's usually the top of the thing, which I'll show you that. So when you make a note, you can also include properties. And then when you make a database, or what Obsidian calls bases, you can filter by these properties. So I could, note type Cheeky McButts is a person, note type person. And I could make other properties like, okay, he's from this area and has, this thing, whatever. And then I can filter by any of these properties in the base. But since I know he's note type person, it'll go into the NPC area, right? Because that's where I put people. If it was note type monster, go into monster area. Note type magic item, go into the magic item area, etc. But this is how you would organize things, is through this. And then you can backlink to other notes that you need. So that when you go to your secrets master list, I'm like, okay, I've made a backlink to Cheeky. I click it. Oh, here's Cheeky's note. And I know this is what the player sees because up here, it's showing me the path that's in the player info, but they're not seeing the secret because that's in my secrets list. So that's the plan, to use kind of as few folders as possible and not repeat folder names, because that can get confusing. Like, even though if I had NPC as a folder in the DM info, well, now I got to go, okay, when I make the backlink, am I backlinking from the DM info or from the player info? So I decided to eliminate that confusion. And you'll have, and so the DM, as things broken down by adventure and session and campaign, and then you fill in that as the players encounter these things and change things, and you keep adding it so that the players know. And how you sync it is up to you, whether you use something like Screen Garden like I am, or maybe you take these notes, since they are, every time you make a folder and a note in Obsidian, it's a folder and a note in your, and a file name in your hard drive. And you could just copy that into, say, a Google Drive, and then update, as drag those files as you make them into the Google Drive that the players see. And then when the players add things, you just copy it into the appropriate area in your vault. An elegant solution. Thanks, Rex. Yeah. So I realized quickly, there'd be, especially after using it on my first Shout Art game, that it's having some folder confusion, and I just wanted to get rid of it. And then also when I make the video, I've been talking about this, but I just need to put this into words now. And when I make the video, it'll be easier. That organization is just 3 things, right? You organize through properties, backlinks, and bases. And then I give a little example of, how to make a property, how to make a backlink, how to make a filter with a base. Because that's all you kind of need to make this work. Oh, I was going to show you how to make a property. So if you've never seen it before, I'm a little over time, but I'll show you anyway. So I'll make a new note. Call this test. And then you can do this a number of ways. You can do 3 dashes and you instantly get the properties thing. Now, this has an empty property. Here's properties I've already created. So I can just type in a new property and go, right? Then I can worry about the type. Like these I'm not using anymore, but if you want to make a checkbox property, you could. This is just going to be a text property at first, so. But since I usually want note type, note type comes up for me. And then, type of note, person, etc. So you can do that to make properties. Or, let's see, I probably have to delete. Can I get rid of properties entirely? Yes. Or what you can do is, if you have slash commands on, you can go slash and then type in add, or no, I'm sorry, property slash, start typing property, and then you'll get the add file property, and we're back to this menu again. And of course, there's another way to do this too. If you hit Control P or Command P on the Mac, you get this big window here of all the things you can add to a note. And then, like with the slash command, you just start typing in properties, add file property, and we're back to this menu again. And then backlinks are just putting a note in square brackets. You see all the notes I already have are appearing here. And I can even, if I came up with a person on the spot, didn't have a note of them, so Banana Brooks, I don't have a note for Banana Brooks. That's fine. Is at the castle. So there's no note, but if I click on Banana Brooks, now Banana Brooks has their own note. And then bases are fairly easy too. Where's the create a new base? There's the create a new base button here, or when you right click, you can go to new base. Then it shows you all the notes. If you go over to filter, you can decide, okay, in this view, I want this file to be, everything has to be a file in folder. Let's see here, in folder, player info, NPCs. And then there's the NPCs I made, Cheeky McButts, Thomas Tank Engine. Then you can click properties. And here's the note type property. So I just check that. And now the note type property occurs there. So as you can see, I also have a folder where you can just add the databases you need if you want to make multiple, or if you want to do multiple views, because you can add a new view, make a new view. So it isn't, the learning curve is not that large. You can really deep dive into these things and do a lot more, but for just getting it functional, that's all you'll need to do, really. All right, let me clean these up real quick, and then we will go raid somebody. All right, that's cleaned up. Let's see who is on. We can send a lovely raid over to. Usual raid target. Yeah, Steven's on. All right, we'll go say hi to Steven. And I'll be back tomorrow with more Suikoden 2, so come on by. That'd be great. And then Friday will be Tech Friday, where we do last week's Tech Friday, when I had the trouble streaming everything. So I'll be saying the same thing, but hopefully without the interruptions. And that'll be great. So if you do have questions on streaming, producing streams, it will all be about all the gear and software that I use to stream, and when I'm producing a TTRPG actual play stream, everything I use for that as well. So come on by. It'll be fantastic. All right, please be kind to yourselves, be kind to each other, and I will see you all tomorrow. Stay tuned for the raid. Bye.